This is a video about graphing. So I put some data here in column A and some data here in column B. The data in column A is what I want on the x-axis of this graph I'm eventually going to make. And the data in column B is the one that's going to be the y-axis. So always put the x-axis to the left of the y-axis data on Excel. The other thing to be very careful of in Excel is don't mix numbers and letters. You'll notice here I wrote time in seconds, time parentheses s, close parentheses, rather than writing 7.15 seconds, because Excel doesn't know what to do with that. It will think the whole thing is text if it's got letters. So you've got to just put numbers. Now, in order to graph this, we are going to highlight both columns. Then we are going to come up here to the Insert menu. Here in chemistry, we almost always do a scatter plot. So you're going to go over here to where it says Charts. And you want the symbol here that is all the dots, scatter plot. So if we click on this, we see that there's several choices here. We want the one that does not connect the dots. Okay, right there. That's the one that does not connect the dots. Now we can change things. We can add axes titles and a chart title, which we should do whenever we make a chart. So if we click on this plus here, we can go down to axes titles, and see, you'll notice the titles have shown up here. The y-axis title is highlighted, so I'm just going to go up here and start typing what I want for the y-axis title, which is time in seconds. And I hit enter, and it shows up right there. Now I click here on this axis title, and I'm going to type speed setting, which doesn't have a unit, so I don't have to worry about that. Now I need a title for my chart, so I'm going to click right there. My chart title is going to be time versus speed setting. Always when you write it in that way, it's y versus x. And if I wanted to, I could change the axes, or I could make this on its own page, on its own tab. All those things would be things I could do. Another thing I can do is to see if this data is linear. In order for me to do that, I would go over here to where it says Add Chart Element. Click on that menu. And I'm going to go all the way down to where it says Trend Line. And then I'm going to slide over and go all the way down to More Trend Line Options. So if you look here on the side, I'm going to draw a trend line. Means it's going to draw the best straight line it can among the points. This is linear, so it's going to draw a line that fits the equation y equals mx plus b, the equation of the line. And it's going to touch as many of the points as it can. It's going to make its best straight line in averaging where all the points are. The reason I didn't just do linear is because I went to add trend line is I wanted these last two buttons here. Display equation on chart, display r squared value on chart. Now you'll notice I'm going to just move this over so that we can see it a little better. Now I have the equation of that line, the y equals mx plus b of that line. I know the slope of this line. I know the y-intercept of this line. That's the equation. The other important part is this r squared value. The closer this r squared value is to 1, the better, the more accurately these points lie along that line they just drew. So the more accurate the line in amongst the points, or the closer to linear this data is. So this is not bad as a linear data. It's 0.97. That's fairly close to 1, so it's not a bad line. And you can see that the points are fairly close to the line it drew. So this is linear data. The time and the speed setting are changing in a regular pattern. The slope of this data, the slope of this line that runs along the data is constant.